Welcome to the grim, lawless 23rd century, following the fall of U.S. Gov and mass depopulation of major cities at the hands of the multi-trillionaire de Huberton family. Baptized in radioactive hellfire, a rare mutation makes Turbo a fiercely pumped scrapper, haunted by specters from her past, surviving the post-apocalyptic wasteland one deathmatch pit fight at a time. But when she rescues the stunning trophy girl, the unlikely duo are thrust into a harrowing odyssey, evading marauding berserkers at every turn on their way to the ultimate showdown as they uncover the horrific truth behind the fall of humanity.
Welcome to episode 117 of Mega Turbo Pitfighter, the comic book. And it's summertime. Wow. Isn't it just great? Summer, Jake, you just hang around lazily all day. You don't really have to go anywhere. You don't really have to do anything.
I was just taking a walk yesterday. Like, wow, I don't have to wake up at 5:30 and go teach classes.
So you enjoying it?
Of well-behaved and misbehaved kids, all mixed in.
Right.
Mostly behaved, but yeah, I've been staying up late, like real late, 2-3 in the morning, doing some sketches and researching stuff. You know what I've been doing lately is just like looking up faces, and I wanted to see if you could like they have this app now. We talk about AI, the takeover of the world of AI and everything, but
the destroyer of individual human creativity, Jake.
Well, there's a controversy now that I'm thinking
about
it.
One.
There's a controversy in the comic world. There's some podcast or magazine or whatever. I don't know. You just see things in your feed when you're scrolling, and it seems like somebody that was like working on Spider-Man is now being accused of using AI for some panels.
No.
And I think the problem.
Banish them.
Well, there's people saying. Yeah, banish them, and then there's people saying like, it's part of the future, and then I think the controversy might be that they're like denying it or something like the cover up is worse than the crime. I have no idea, but I'm like, so what? If you don't like the comic, don't buy it.
It's my Spider-Man comic. This is my Spider-Man comic, Jake.
I know of the 20
it.
Of the 20 Spider-Mans that come out every month, right? Like,
this is mine.
And it's like you could tell when stuff is photo reference. You could tell when stuff is lifted. You can tell when stuff is like, just recycled. It's like Xerox. They literally Xerox a picture of a cityscape and stick it in the background. And you can see the Xerox of it. They've been doing that for decades. So what's the difference if AI is going to do it? So, and I don't know. It just seems really weird because you have one thing is like a bunch of people that are opposed to AI because they just think it's cheating, and it's got to be like natural, hand drawn, whatever. And but photo references are apparently great, and like tracing, which people have been doing from the photos from time immemorial with light boxes, that seems to be no problem. But if you're doing it with AI, well, that's a problem. And I think part of it stems from the principle of it, because they don't want to feed the beast because AI has stolen so much, allegedly from artists and unnamed artists.
It's not allegedly. They all these large corporations have, but they've been doing it for like the last probably 20 years. I mean, as soon as Google really figured out its business model based on data, selling you your data back, it's been off the rails. So yeah, that's one part of it. But I
Yeah,
think
so I mean
this
that's like vegetarians, like oh, are you a vegetarian for your health
vegetarians.
purposes? No, and it's like no, it's because I'm against cruelty to animals. I don't
All
think
right.
that man should be domineering over the animal kingdom. We don't have the
Okay.
right. And it's like, all right, different people do stuff for different reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to stop the onslaught of AI. In the comic industry, you might be able to put up some kind of like obstacles to people openly. If there's a boycott of parts of the marketplace, maybe some people will be discouraged, maybe not. For me, I would use AI as long as I, traced over and made it my own and made it so that you couldn't tell that it was AI because I wouldn't want anything looking like AI. But how the hell do you know, if it goes through the artist's hand at the end of the day?
Well, I
I mean,
think the answer really falls into, it has it been done very well? Is it a good product? Is it telling an excellent story? Is it contributing to a pantheon or whatever it is? What do they call it?
yeah,
The canon. You know what I mean? Like, is it a cash grab? So like then, like if you're gonna come down on some poor schmub that is just trying to pay their bills at the end of the day, do the thing they're most passionate about, which is drawing comics, and they're lucky enough to draw their favorite character, Spider-Man, and then you're gonna doggy pile on that guy or gal? Fuck you. Go after Marvel. Stop buying Marvel comic books. I mean, put Marvel in the grave, right? And then start doing your own Spider-Man comic books. I just my personal position right now, and has been ever since, I think when we lost when you and I lost Flash animation, the program. I just want it out there so we can use it in its full capacity. It can grow, and then it can just become a part of the lexicon, and we can move forward into the next space. This whole slowing everything down, it's inevitable. And people hate change. Not me. I love change. So I'm always one of the weird ones. I'm always the one that they stare at across the table, and I'm like, yeah, well, come talk. Let's talk a year from now when you don't really want to talk about it anymore because it's not hyperbolic news. But I just think it's all any of this is about is non-creative people that want to sit on whatever laurels they have as a voice for the community of comic books. And this is what they do for a living. They got a YouTube channel or a
yeah,
TikTok or both, and their livelihood is based on the hyperbolicness of getting
pundits.
everybody so upset to the point where they hate you so much that there's more people hating you watching your content than people who actually agree with your thing. But you're still making the money off the advertising. The sponsors are happy because you got 30,000 views on it. Those are the people you got to ignore. But if
The monetizers.
some putty, we all know there's no money in comics at the ground level or the mid level entry. It's not until you have some monicum of recognizable success, which seems to be far and few between, that people are just living paycheck to paycheck, doing the thing they love the most to do. And if you can figure out ways to make some things happen quicker in your process, but then double down on some areas where you've wanted to put more detail and render things up more and be able to experiment with this, and God bless them. Just God bless them. You have me, my full attention. But anybody else, if you're bitching and moaning, keep it up.
Right. Well,
You'll join. You'll join. You'll join in sooner or later.
Yeah, well, you weren't going to buy any Spider-Man comics anyway, so
I
they're
don't buy
they're
Spider-Man
they're
comics.
not
I think I
losing
bought
you.
one. I bought one where it was the one where it was the all black costume. I remember buying that because
Right,
they faked me out. I thought Spider-Man was becoming a ninja because it looked like a
right.
ninja costume. I was like, "Oh shit, this is so cool! Spider-Man's now going to be a ninja. Rock on!" And then I got it home and I read all my ninja comics. I said,
He's
"All right,
not a
here's the
ninja.
best for last. Here's the best. Where the fuck's the ninjas? Where's the
Right.
samurais? Where's the yakuza? Where's the nothing?" So I gave it to somebody. I was like, "You read Spider-Man? Yep, there you go.
Hey,
Here's Spider-Man. Go."
if that was the first black costume Todd
Yeah.
McFarlane issue,
No,
that's
it wasn't.
probably worth
No,
like
no,
$13.
I don't believe it was. There was something else.
I
I think
think
it had to do with. I think it had to do with Secret Wars.
I have two copies of that. Sitting in a pile.
But
Yeah, I gotta get rid of some of this crap.
yeah, but I've never bought
Yeah,
comic books to make money off of. I've never bought a comic book based on that. It's always been based
yeah,
on what I enjoy reading or somebody's work. Like, oh look, you know, so and so just
yeah.
made a
Well,
new comic. Oh, this is
me
great.
too.
If it
But if I have a,
sucks, I give it away.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
know.
you heard it, folks. Show up at Kurt's door, and
See what
he'll
he's
just
giving
give
away
you
today.
right. So, yeah, I'm working on this page here where Turbo's going to be trying to penetrate the orphanage, which is under siege. She's coming around the back, and she's going to be shooting these dog soldiers with a gun she picked up from a dead guy. She's got the package on her back, which is of real concern to the nuns of the orphanage because they they know what it is, or somebody knows what it is, but Turbo doesn't. And Turbo is just single mindedly trying to give it to Sister Ray, but Sister Ray is in a world of trouble, as we're going to find out. And so I'm just about to draw this scene, which I roughed out here, where Sister Ray is going to be held captive on the altar, and they're trying to extract the information from her to spill the beans where the beans are, the where the
Peas.
where the radioactive peas are. So there's going to be this one guy here in the corner with a little instrument reading, the radioactive activity in the area. The readings are off the charts. The beans are somewhere in here. Uh, and then she was like, "Go ahead, put a bullet in me," something like that. And then this guy's going to say, "You're not getting off that easy, sister. Where are they?" So he's going to say something threatening here. And she'll say, like, so this is where I need some help. Like, I want her to say something like, "Go screw yourself, you filthy pigs." You can see I erased it here. "Go to hell, pigs." Um, those readings are, residue. I don't know. I don't know what to say here. So I'm gonna think about that while we're doing our thing. Anyway, this one guy's gonna come real close to her face and start choking her. Where are they? Where are they? And then Turbo's, and you can see here, Turbo's gonna be coming in this like little vestibule area, and she's already shooting people up. And then she's going to shoot this guy, and we're going to see here that Turbo isn't afraid to take the shot in close range. Just going to shoot this guy right in his face, even though he was right close to Sister Ray. So this guy will be, "Where are they? Tell me, or I'll, or give it up, erg, give it up, dot dot dot, erg." So yeah, if you have any suggestions of like filthy dog soldier, mercenary pig, what would Sister Ray say?
Yeah,
She's got this.
I'm going through that in my head because I don't quite have a complete like style of language for her, like in my head, like how she's going to um, talk, not talk. It's like announce herself, like pronounce
What her
herself, like
what her voice is.
yeah, her voice. But what are like the adjectives or the like? Is she a heavy cursor, or is she like does she try to not
Oh,
curse? You know what I mean? Like, is she not? Like, is she a proper scientist? You know, in the sense of like it's degrading of the mind. This is actually a true fact. There's a study out there that if you use X amount of curse words percentage wise in your language, you'll actually get dumber because you're
yeah,
not expanding your vocabulary. Like there's a
yeah.
whole thing. There's a whole thing if you want to get more intelligent, learn and apply a new word every week. So
Well,
it's
I
a
think that also goes for people that just use phrases and cliches over and over. You know,
yes, yes. I fall into that
like
trap sometimes.
one thing that drives me nuts in education is when people say, "That being said," you know, because it's like, you know, because it's like, well, even though I just said that, now I'm going to tell you something the opposite, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
How do I get this thing in focus? It's not focusing. Oh, here, there we go. Okay.
so
But
I think like even if it's a little girlish, you know, like you baddies, you naughty men, you know that like is she gonna be that proper in her language? Like once again, the question stands, Jake, is her character going to use foul language, or is she going to use harsh language, or is she not going to use uh, any kind of language aggressively? It's just she's going to speak her mind in
well,
frustration as best she can.
she's facing she's facing tough odds. She knows that these guys are after the children. She knows that these guys are, going to burn everything down. It's like Mad Max times. Like it's desperate wasteland. What do you do? You know, it's like those those prisoners in Furiosa, right? There's no good options. What do you say? You just stay quiet. Should she stay quiet?
Mm,
Should it be like, oh, cat's got your tongue? That kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I like that. I do
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
she's all right. So
Because the more you talk, the more you're giving away. And if you're exhausting yourself, that's also with your anger,
yeah,
your own
but
anger and stuff. Like,
but I was gonna have it where right away she was telling them to shoot her and end it.
yeah, just go ahead, shoot me, go ahead, shoot me,
Right,
go ahead,
right. Go ahead, pig.
yeah, go ahead. No, why pig? Just go
Go
ahead.
ahead, shoot me.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
shoot me. Because then that rests the hyperbolic sense of language throughout the comic. Because the other thing is, I gave a copy to my good friend John, and he was flipping through it and reading it, because it's a very quick read, and he says "flirkin" out loud, and he looks at me and he goes, "Do you write this?" I said, "Nah, it's Jake. That's Jake." And he's like, "Ah, yeah, yeah, I remember Jake's writing." But if you kind of leave there in that balloon a space of breath, which is just go ahead, shoot me. Then when you do use a flirkin, people are like flirkin, yeah, that's funny. you know.
Well, if she says go ahead and shoot me, we got to try to explain why she's saying that. Now we want to try to convey what's going on here. I'll never go ahead shoot me. I'll never talk. Go ahead shoot me. I'm not talking. Go ahead
It's a
shoot me.
better option for you to just shoot me.
Okay, go ahead
It's a
and
better
shoot. I'm not
option.
talking.
It's a better option. Just go ahead and shoot me. Like I kind of like I don't know like I for what little I've experienced because I haven't inked her. We haven't we haven't actually, finalized her dialogue, in a teaser. I don't know. I do keep this like airs about her. There's an air about her. She's
Well, the
just
only lines she's had so far would be in here where she she takes in young Turbo.
young.
Um, when Turbo has a flashback to being taken care of,
Right.
and we don't really get too much into her characterization. Let's see. We When do we first show her? Is this thing in order? I'm looking for
Is this thing
Sister
on?
Ray here, right here. Poor thing, you've got blood on your face. Are you hurt? Hurt? Gone. They're all gone. You're safe now, child.
Yeah.
Not how, child. You're safe now, child. Um, and cutting her hair. Sister Ray, yes, Turbo. Will you help? Will you help you? Help you? Help.
We'll help
Oh,
you.
will you help me?
Oh, will you help me?
What happened with my work? With my dialogue? Um, will you help me? Help you? Help me get them. Sweet child, I know what you want. I want the same. Together we can do what's right. The orphanage needs a courier. It's dangerous, but so important. Yes, I want to. The fingers through my hair. See me tonight if you are sure. Your hair is so soft, so nice, just like Embra. So she's kind of like conflating Sister Ray with Embra, just because like somebody's like putting their fingers through her hair. It's very sensory. Then we don't see, her again. That's all she ever said. Is you're safe now? Are you hurt? Stuff like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
But we know that she is in a transaction with the pharmacist in order to. She sent her best radioactive peas in exchange for him weaponizing them into this handheld gun. That's and Sister Ray knew, like, I guess the RM was eventually going to come upon them in that sector, and it was not going to be safe. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of generic what she's said so far. No real personality stuff. Um, so I'll say for now, go ahead, shoot. I'm not talking, or I mean, she's smart enough to know that they're going to torture her, though, right? So,
Oh, absolutely.
so what would you say? Go ahead, shoot. You're wasting your time.
Yeah, like I said, I still keep it as just flat as possible. No explanatives.
I like this pose where her arms are kind of like splayed out, but now it means that the guy's got to be holding her hands high up in the air. Maybe it'd be better if her arms were lower, maybe more realistic. What do you think I should go for? The realism, or I can make these guys real tall?
Because from my angle, I've been thinking she's like suspended.
No, it's just guys holding her arms.
Okay, okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah,
This
I
guy
can
looks
see
real
that now.
dictatorial.
Yeah,
Um,
but her
they could
feet are
be up
still on
on
the
the
ground, right? Her feet are still on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, she's on the altar here. So this is like a big slab behind her, and there's I guess like a big crucifix is going to be here, right? Because this is the rectory of the church with the
Right,
altar piece and
right.
everything. And I was going to put some design to it too, but I got to first put enough of these guards. Turbo's about to kill all these guards. and save her, but she's already mortally wounded, and you know, it's going to be her big death scene. Yeah, these are the questions. So I'm just going to keep doodling here until I work out this composition. I if her arms are back like this, would it be would it be terrible? No, that might work too. I think I like that better because then we can get a clearer look at what's going on. If her arms are back, I mean, it's not bad to make guys looking stiff like Ditko, but it's not my style. And this way, I don't even have.
Are you gonna heavily silhouette them, or do you want them to have like individual senses of unique
That's a good question.
characterization?
That's a good question. I've been trying to like half silhouette people. Like here, I'm putting like Turbo in some darkness, so they'll just be like edge lighting. And here,
Because you also have to
it'll
think like what I'm going to do once I get my hands on it. Because
right. Well,
compositionally, it'll have a lot to do with if because she's pretty much a white shape, being flayed out here, stretched out, maybe dark
well, she's gonna
panties.
have her nun costume all in tatters.
Right, but does she have like pink undies or black undies or pale blue undies?
Yeah, but she's gonna have garters. Like all the nuns have garters.
Oh yes, well, it's
Because in
standard for the
this
70s.
orphanage, that's how they pay the bills because they've been a refuge for children that they take in. But at night, they what's that Cher song? Every night, all the men will come around and lay the money down.
Woo, woo. You talking about being pros? They being pros?
Yeah. Why do you think they're wearing garters? So right,
support. Hello.
But that was right. But that was more like during peacetime. Like I think all that stuff has been out the window since this area has been under siege.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And there aren't too many like regular civilians left, aka Johns, but they did have their own security, so it was, I guess, it was a thing of the past. It might be like 5-10 years in the past that they were doing that, but that's just how they dress. Being a plus, it's just
Cool.
it's just cool. Well, you say cool, but I'll be like, that's comics.
That's that's cool.
That's comic. We're trying to make it tastefully racy, but not like the boobs in your face.
But realistic. But realistic.
Helium. Well, I mean, one thing I don't want to have in this comic is helium boobs. But on the other hand, you want to harken back to that B movie feeling, right?
Oh yeah. Speaking of B movies, let me interject. For the life of me, just remembered the title of this movie. I'm probably going to end up watching it tonight, but I don't know if you brought this up. MetalStorm, the Destruction of Jared Sinn. Do you remember this movie? 1983. I will flash some stuff up. I watch a lot of like movie reviewers on YouTube, and you get kind of stuck in whether it's like trashy exploitation or it's post-apocalyptic and stuff. And somebody did. Oh, I remember who it was. I'll put a link to their channel. They're super great. I can't remember his name right now. And he recently changed the name of his channel, but he did like the five lesser known but cool post-apocalyptic movies, and I was like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. But then the last one was MetalStorm, The Destruction of Jared Sinn. Now I remember this one character with the prosthetics and the mutant kind of fate, but I've watched the trailer and I'm like, nothing's coming back in my memory bank, so I'm pretty excited to chomp down on this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the movie I just Googled, so I'm
Yeah,
looking
me
at the
too.
movie. The poster is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
They have this like movie poster and this, Jane Fonda looking chick with, the Mad Max looking guy, and then the cyborg bad guy. It is out in space, so I don't know if it's a little bit of a Star Wars rip, a little bit of a Battle Galactica rip, but it looks like pretty low budget. Oh, they definitely have the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
The new Elon Musk Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were way ahead of him in 1983. They got the
Oh,
same
he
thing
stole it.
going.
He stole it. This is
Yeah,
probably one
you
of his
basically
favorite
you putting
movies.
basically you're putting sheet metal on top of a regular like Jeep or something. um, so you should flash the this poster art.
Oh, heck yeah.
Um, and so did you said you gonna watch it or you watched it?
Tonight. Yeah,
Oh, you're
tonight
gonna
I'm
watch
gonna.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Midnight Pulp, which is a channel that you
Yeah.
can get. I have Roku, Revo, whatever. What do I have now? Roku. And so Midnight Pulp is a channel. There's tons of commercials. It's maddening, but I have this routine where I get up and do some of the dishes, sit back down, get up and do some dishes. So I end up doing the dishes throughout the thing. Get cleaning up the kitchen and then come back and watch. But the only thing that they were unlocking that I watched was it was like a contemporary buddy movie called Violet and Daisy,
Hmm.
and it's about two like young girls. They look like they're just about early 20s, late teens, and they're hitmen, and they dress up as nuns and they dress up as like workers and stuff, and they do these jobs. And then this is 2011, this movie comes out, and it was real bad, real low budget, but interesting art piece. Who's the lead male but James Gandolfini.
What?
Yeah, 2011. And you know it was an interesting vehicle for a young actress by the name of Saoirse Ronan,
Wow.
who became a very, very popular. You probably know her face, and you should flash her on the screen. And she was pretty young in this
What's the name of the
movie.
movie? What's the name of the movie again?
Violet and Daisy. So if you flash I can send you the JPEGs if you want, but if you
No, I
flash the
got it.
movie
I got
poster,
it.
so I saw the whole thing. If you want to see, it's a little art filmy.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of kind of
It's
like
pretty
a
cool.
character study, but some of the script is very like throwback to like things that don't people really don't say. Like those get the gats, stuff like that. And
Get the
I
cats.
don't know if that's noir or if that's like you could tell the script was like a little Dashiell Hammett-ish, um, but but you know, I watched it to the end. I didn't bail on it. These two young actresses probably had. I mean, I know Saoirse Ronan had a long career. She's been in everything. She's in all those like British movies, like Lady Jane, and all this. I don't know what's going on with the world with all this. What's it called? Edge. Uh, Help me out. Those classic English. Oh, Bridgerton, something like that.
Oh yeah, Bridgerton. Yeah.
Right, that stuff is just taken over, and so there's this. So she's in like all these things. I looked up on her IMDb. There was no other like B movies or action movies or anything, but I saw that movie. If anyone wants to give it a throw, it's free on Midnight Pulp if you sit through the commercial breaks. The other movie I saw this week was J-Lo. She's in a sci-fi high-budget epic for Netflix, and I really could not believe the quality of this CGI and this science fiction thing. So it's called Atlas, and in the first, minute, it's like the world has been ravaged by AI. The computers became aware, and the AI robots became aware. They look just like humans, but they turned on the human race, and so they're showing these catastrophes in all these major cities. 3 million people were killed because of this one AI robot that turned on its master. It got the code to break the oath, do not harm humans, the first rule. It got the code somehow, and it was created by the scientist lady who had a daughter named Atlas. And so then they're like 20 years later, or 28 years later, it's like J-Lo, and she's Atlas, and she's like a high level military officer, and they're doing these space missions, and they're getting in these robot suits and everything. And you know real typical Hollywood movie. It's basically J Lo. She owns everything: production, executive producer, all that stuff. Back end, front end. It looked like it cost 50 million, 100 million to do all the graphics on it. Real big blockbuster like that. But the story was kind of interesting. They had a lot of good gadgets. Like it's showing you the future and all, like the coffee makers and the computer screens, the way doors open. There was a lot of attention to detail, so I think it's worth a watch. And I'm recommending Jennifer Lopez in. I was going to say Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lopez in Atlas, now on Netflix. Big budget blockbuster, high tech sci-fi film where the robots go crazy and J Lo is chasing them to another planet to hunt down the robots that are endangering humans, and antics ensue. So, are you going to watch it?
No. I got
All
better
right.
things. I got better things to watch. I've got like a lot. I have with MetalStorm. I'm moving that up to the front.
I know you got. I know you got
I've
MetalStorm queued
I've
up,
got
but
like I've got like six
the
films. Savage 7, which was one of the first one of the first movies that Quentin Tarantino, for his first movie festival, he put that out, and I just watched like the first 15 minutes of it, and it's pretty raw, biker gang kind of thing. And then oh, I got it right here.
But how do you
I
watch these things for free? Do you have to
It's
pay for this?
YouTube. It's YouTube.
Oh,
You
you
got to
watch
get
the whole thing?
savvy. You got to get savvy on how you search for it. But I watched this other movie, last year, and I kept thinking like, oh, it was really, really, really good. And it's called Angels from Hell, and it was a really cool story arc where guy comes back from Vietnam, and he tries to save the life of a black man in the South who's being harassed by, you know, these unsavory individuals. Um, a fight breaks out, and then they get thrown out of the bar, and he's still fighting. And then a motorcycle gang comes up, and they recognize him, and he's their old leader for the
Are you
biker
talking about
gang.
the Savage Seven?
No, that's another one. That's another one. I haven't watched
What?
that yet. I'm talking about
Which
Angels
movie?
from Hell. I'm talking about From Angels
Oh,
from Hell,
Angels
1968.
from Hell.
And so he ends up not. I don't want to ruin it because it's really well written, and so you just got to sit through an exploitation film from 1968, which I'm fine with. I love the aesthetic of that, but the ending was just. I was dumbfounded on how they took this kind of righteous guy, but who was previously a biker gang leader. But then he volunteers and goes to Vietnam, and then he comes back and he's trying to help this black guy not get beaten to death by these, these racists. And then he has to go through this whole thing where he gets his gang back. And then when he gets his gang back, he goes south. He becomes this other character, but it's so subtle. It's just really well written. And I also have to say, I mean, for once again, B movie exploitation biker film 68.
I'm usually in on biker film. I'm looking up Savage 7. I don't know if you're confusing the two movies. Savage 7 is from 1968.
Yeah, they can all be from
And
1968, Jake.
oh, okay. So Quentin Tarantino didn't make it.
No,
He recommended it.
he used it as a recommendation for his festival, his movie festival. The first time he did in
Gotcha.
'97. So
Gotcha.
it's sorry
Right.
about
These
that.
are the movies that influence.
Yeah, because he the one thing I'm always like reminded when I watch a interview with him is he's a genre maker. That's the first thing he
Yeah.
wants to do is he wants to go into a genre and make his
Well, he wants to go
version
back to his genre.
in that
Yeah.
genre. Yeah. And that just grabs all my heartstrings when I
Yeah.
hear
Well,
him say that.
his genre is contemporary pulp, right? And
It could be
pulp,
anything like the war
pulp fiction.
movie, yeah, I mean,
That
but Pulp
that's why
Fiction's
that's why they.
funny. I mean, Pulp Fiction is a kind of it's a Frankenstein
I'm just saying
movie.
that's why it's named. That's why that movie is named that. He wanted to create a genre which is contemporary throwback and could even be decent budget, big actors, and we're going to do pulp movie. We're going to do like exploitation on purpose or shock exploitation stuff on purpose,
Well, the
even
thing
though
was is that the Reservoir Dogs was so popular. He became so popular that the movie studios were forcing him to make a movie quickly, and he knew
yeah
he had to as well, and so he had, you know, hundreds, and I'm exaggerating, but hundreds of scripts started or scenes written, and he just took all those scenes. Those are all separate original scenes for different movie ideas, and then he wrote them together in this, as you said, pulp style genre, but it's out of sequence, and it's loosely got connected by a MacGuffin, which is Marsala Masala. What I can't pronounce his
you
name.
okay there, pal? Don't
Whoa!
hurt yourself.
Yeah, I think I might have. His soul is in a suitcase, and that's sort of the thing that kind of ties it all together. Other than like Samuel Jackson and John Travolta, but not to go down that rabbit hole in a, let's say, argumentative state. But that movie really opened up, definitely for me, possibilities in storytelling. Like, you don't have to do something literally, like one after the other, start, middle, ending, 3 act, those types of things, and everybody else too.
Yeah, well, his
Just
latest movie, I think it was his last movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or
yeah,
whatever.
that's on my list
Anyway.
too. As a matter of fact, that's on the 6
Oh,
movies I want to
it's
watch.
really good, but
Oh, I know.
basically
I've watched it. I've watched it twice already. I want to watch it again.
it's basically a what if. What
Yeah.
if
Well, it's
the Manson
it's like
family
a
was
love
in the
letter.
Hollywood?
It's a love letter to Hollywood that he remembers. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
Yeah, but then at the end, it's got his signature shock exploitation stuff. So
Yeah.
it delivers. If you like him, and he's really focusing in on you know, like big name actors doing these great performances. He really gets good performances out of Leonardo and Brad Pitt, and
Well, he's also recognized as the Oscar maker. So
yeah,
he's, I mean, John Travolta was the quote unquote surprise, and everybody thinks he did it on purpose, but it was just once
It was
again,
a
and
big comeback for
Travolta
John Travolta.
Travolta just needed the vehicle that was right for him, and Quentin Tarantino just felt like this was going to be right for him. It was just going to be up to John Travolta to take the chance, and John Travolta took the chance, and he fucking nailed it. And Bob's your uncle.
Right. And of course, I don't have to remind people that when he did Jackie Brown,
Oh, that's
um,
so good. Ugh.
yeah, he brought back
Pam Grier.
Pam Grier, and
Whew.
Pam Grier today. I have a friend that was talking to her in real life because he works at a big autograph auction house or a autograph retailer in Manhattan. She comes in there and tells, "Oh my God!" And she says, "If he wouldn't have, I mean, he put me in that movie." She was still, want to say like camera ready. She was still like able to go on the screen. I think she was in her late 40s,
Yep.
maybe early 50s.
Yep.
But now she's like in her 70s or something. So she was like, I was in such hock. Got me out of got me out of all these jams. My life is nice now, all because I owe it all to him. And he revered her because of her earlier work in all these horrible movies
How
that you
can't
and I
you?
have watched.
How can't you?
What's that?
How can't you revere her
Well, I'm
if
just
you're
saying
really into B movie, 60s, 70s exploitation. You're the one of the most the one. She's the softest spot. Like if you see her name, you're gonna watch that movie. Like that's a tried and
Well, she
true.
is the most prominent black actress
She's a
of her
great
day.
actress. She's a great
Right?
actress.
Because seriously, who else could you possibly name? Cicely Tyson, Leslie Uggams, the lady in Gone with the Wind. They won a Best Supporting Academy Award, but she was literally playing, like a black mammy from Civil War days.
Right, right.
So, this was a liberating, icon. And, Quentin Tarantino saw it from the eyes of somebody much younger, a male. But imagine, what it did for females at the time and African Americans at the time. So, yeah, she's definitely iconic. And he got her out of a pinch because, for him, I guess this is all monopoly money. Oh, let's pay her $5 million for a film. Whatever she got paid. I don't know if it was $1 million, $5 million. I don't know if there's back end. Who knows? But it was definitely a nice payday for her that saved her bacon. And she's that's what she's going around saying. So yeah, Tarantino is it's nice when the young guys, it's like when the Rolling Stones they made an album with Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and everything. It was the most money those guys ever made in their entire careers, playing Chicago blues for 50 years. And then the Rolling Stones put them on an album, for 2 seconds, and then it's like a flood of money, right? So, it's like when you get to meet your heroes and you get to collaborate with them, and you're success. I mean, you're successful because you're whoever, and they were people that didn't get the recognition when they created all this genius work at the time, right?
Well, it
So
wasn't. I mean, we're always so quick to go hindsight on genius, and I don't like endorsing that. It is what it is when it is, and this is the definition of art. Nothing is art until society deems it so. You can make everything you want. You can say, "Oh, this is my art. This is art. This is my art." That's just a word to help people navigate through a conversation in society. But when you apply genius and art to something or somebody, it's a social iconography now. It's that they have withstood the test of time to the extent where you almost like miss them. It's just such good stuff that you miss them because we're starving for that kind of art, genius, and originality. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
we're starving for it. I know I am. The whole J-Lo thing wouldn't waste my time because I know for a fact that they can only navigate through I don't know, the tropes of the last, let's say, 20 years of big blockbuster since Independence Day, Jerry Bruckheimer, so on and so forth. So it's not like they're going to pull a Tarantino and they're going to say, okay, this is a Foreman project reboot in a sense, or what I mean, like they're going to go back into a genre and they're really going to dig, and then they're going to try to layer on top of it, and give
Well,
us
I gotta
something
tell
in a
you though,
rejuvenated way. But you're not going to get it.
you know,
You're not.
I gotta tell you, like, you know how I'm always finding, I'm looking at all these sci-fi movies, and I'm always finding something,
Yeah, yeah,
from our Turbo story and our Turbo world.
yeah.
So there was something in this movie, like she puts herself as Atlas. She was the daughter of the woman that created the AI humanoid, whatever you want to call it, the sim, who went crazy. And it's,
Crazy.
if you're not going to watch it, I'll give us a little spoiler warning. So
Oh
I'll give three,
no, no
two.
spoilers,
Well, for people that
spoilers.
might, yeah, it's worth watching. I mean, it's a lot of really blockbuster CGI stuff with robots and spaceships and guns and all that. So I would check it out if you're into that. But the spoiler, which is coming now, is that she puts herself. So she was Atlas. She was the daughter when she was a kid, and it turns out in the ending that she was the one that unlocked the.
Oh, surprise.
She was the one that unlocked the robot, and and then its programming, and then it went crazy and it killed 3 million people all across the country, and then it went to. So I was like, oh wow, that's kind of like the idea that I'm brewing with Elvina. It's a little different because Elvina is a scientist and her research falls into the wrong hands. But this gives JLo this opportunity to say, I have to kill him. I has to be me. I have to be the one. Why? I can't talk about it. Right? The whole movie, you're like, she's got this dark secret, this dark past, and then you go to flashback, and when she was a kid, she was mad at her mother. She unlocked the thing she didn't know, and they're like, it's not your fault. You didn't know that it was going to go crazy and it was going to incinerate major cities,
Crazy.
right? But you see, I got that plot point
Yeah.
in my writing, so I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Well, it's just a
interesting.
trope. It's just
It
a
is a trope,
trope.
but
You know what I mean?
but it
There's no originality unless you, as the creator, the person that takes that stuff and shifts and molds it and melds it and then puts it out there. But I don't want to be the guy that
what
sits on
are
the other side.
difference?
When
So
you started
the
explaining
idea,
the story, I knew
yeah,
that was the whole gist of it. I just knew it.
right.
I just knew it.
Well,
It's
it
just
is,
because that's a Jerry Bruckheimer big budget. Like, oh no,
yes,
she has to
directed by
right her wrong, and she does it because she's powerful and she's jailed. Boring.
well, I'm just curious,
Boring.
what other stories or sci-fi do they have this kind of like, you take your protagonist and you put them not only in the center of the story, but you're putting them in the center of the whole world's events. I think that's the big trope that that I had in common with this movie. um that's the big thing. And can you think of any other stories where the actions of one person are so consequential, for the
Foreman
planet,
Project.
which one?
Foreman Project.
Oh, I don't know that one.
All right. Well, we got that. War games.
Right.
There's
Right.
plenty.
Well, that's
There's stuff out
there's
there,
been
Jake.
plenty of movies where like a nobody saves the world, but in
Well,
this it's like
yeah.
it's the in this it's like in my story it's like the scientist is there. She's
You're
the
saying
fourth.
the person who caused all the trouble is the person who fixes the problem.
well, endeavors to, right, to it leads the resistance and having the right, and that's, I guess that's a common theme. I could accept that, but here it was, being used on this, pop
Oh,
culture,
no, I think it's cool. I
phenomenon.
think it's good. I mean, I'm guaranteeing that now that you've watched it and you're absorbing it, and as you keep moving your way through, um, elevating the story and everything like that, you're gonna take things, flip and switch and twist, and
Yeah,
so I'm gonna, that's what it means
but
to be
it's
an
still,
artist.
yeah. So for people that are like wondering what this is, so Elevena is going to appear in the Turbo comic series in issue number
3.
three, and she's going to be sitting in prison. But in her earlier days, in her 20s, she leads the resistance, a super squadron of genetically enhanced women. She leads the science by far, and the Dehubertans get a hold of it, and they create enhanced soldiers and all kinds of other technology. But um, it inadvertently falls into the wrong hands. And so it's going to be that Elevena is a super scientist, right? I say that because her brain was enhanced by her mother before she was even born. Um, and the other big theme is going to be that science is going to the nature of science is going to change with respect to humans being able to share scientific advances. And I think we're at that point already now where, anything of value um, is top secret so that, corporations or governments can take advantage of it, in a competitive sense, whether it's military or economic or, just trying to, corner the marketplace, etc. So in the future, I think this will be on steroids because, once they unlock the nano world and you're able to manipulate, physics, and you're able to like bioengineer things, um, that's going to change. That's going to change a lot, and as far as weapons and defense and security, and technology. So our post-apocalyptic world is going to be after Elevena's formulas fall into the wrong hands of Dehubertans, and they exploit them, and they eventually going to release radioactive gas and knock out all the major cities, mass depopulation. We need a word bigger than the Holocaust, so I call it the megalopolis. Called the megapocalypse.
Megapocalypse.
The megapocalypse. Yes.
All right. Well, look, we are over 45 minutes. We love to keep these bite sizes so we can let people get back to reading comics, making them if they choose. Jake, I have nothing further to contribute to this episode. Once again, a wonderful Sunday morning with you. Do you have anything on your
Wonderful
way out?
discussion. No, I did make some progress. I'm getting through this panel. I just want to look up like some altars and see what I can put like here between this slab and this cross back here. But I have the windows and the curtains in the panel, and there will just be kind of like minimal dialogue here. Yeah, I think it's a suggestion to keep her answers short,
Yeah.
and just be like, go ahead, do what you're gonna do. I'm not talking. Let's go to the next step. Something like that.
Right.
Um. So yeah. So that's it. And
Turbo
I
teasers
have.
are available. KurtBruegel.com. So yes, and I am
They're moving
on
like warm cake.
August 1st. I'm going to be dropping to the public for sale Crom the Barbarian. I have a second proof that I made all of the suggested feedback corrections. And now I am going to take a look at that, and then I will have those copies ready to go by August 1st, and I will be chatting up a lot about that. And but other than that, let's let these people get out of here.
All right, man. Talk to you next time.
Next time. See you next Sunday.
All right.